will be racing at Donington this weekend. Please welcome Finn Smart-Weeden. Hello, Finn.
Hi, thank you for having me.
That's all right. How are you?
All good, yeah. Just getting ready for Donington at the moment.
Yeah, we were just discussing Donington and World Superbikes and stuff. So is this the first time that you've raced on the support package at World Superbikes? I can't actually remember.
No, so as a class, we've done it this will be the third year running, I think we've done it. And I've been a part each time. And the last 2 years, it's not really been a great round for me. In 2021, I crashed 3 times in a weekend with only 4 sessions. And then 2022, I think I also fell off a couple of times. So hoping to break that streak this year.
Well, you're back again and you're in a position in the championship anyway, leading it. And I mean, last time I saw you, you were at Knockhill, and it's fair to say you were sort of buzzing from that weekend, and you had a pretty good set of races, I would say. So, yeah, leading the championship and coming into Donington in World Superbikes in the support category anyway, leading the championship. Fantastic so far for you in the season.
Yes, it started off really well, to be honest. You know, I came into this season thinking I could challenge for the wins and stuff and for the podium, but then my pace in that first race at Silverstone, and I finished 4th, and I was like, that's when I realised that I had pace to be at the front, because I wasn't happy with 4th, whereas the year before I definitely would have been happy with 4th. And then I won that second race, and that really propelled me forward, and I felt like I could definitely challenge for the title. And then Donington went quite well, a 3rd and a 4th. That was quite good. But then when we went to Knockhill, and I was still second in the championship, it all got a bit real. So after that first race at Knockhill, it wasn't great. It was 4th again. But then second in the second race, starting from 10th on the grid to the championship lead. And yeah, as you said, I was just buzzing coming out of Knockhill, especially going into the World Superbike round as the championship leader.
Well, we've got the other guys on the show. We've got Lewis and Jay as well, who you'll know, I'm sure, from your time racing at Fab Racing, yourself being another Fab Racing graduate, and we may just talk about that as well. Yeah, guys, questions for Finn?
You go first, Lewis, or me?
No, you can start with your quick fire question.
Oh, okay, then. Well, no, I'll leave the quick fire questions to the end. I'll just talk to Finn. And well done, Finn. I was there at Silverstone when you got your first win. I could see how happy you were. It must have been amazing crossing that line. I was watching what's the corner off the back straight at Silverstone called? You should know, Finn.
The first corner?
No, coming off the back straight into the last little complex bit. Brooklands, yeah. So I was watching going in there. You were making some really good moves, and in traditional 300 racing, you make one mistake and you land up going back to 10th place. But just tell people, you really got to be in good track position. It's not just about being the quickest in the 300s. It really is about being in the right place at the right time. Did you feel going into that race that you didn't want to be leading coming out that last corner, or did you want to be in front?
Oh, yeah, track position. Important. I mean, I sort of had a plan going into that last lap. So I was I didn't want to be leading coming into Brooklands, because I knew Brooklands was the last real overtaking opportunity and had that big straight before it. So I thought, if I'm leading into Brooklands, I'm just going to get dive bombed. So I made the conscious decision to be second. I didn't really let them through, but I didn't make a move going into called maggots, so that I could be second down the straight into Brooklands. And then, you know, the plan didn't pay off, to be honest, at that point, because the plan was to make a move into Brooklands, because I thought that was where the obvious place to make one would be. And then I just couldn't make a move. I couldn't quite get late enough on the brakes, and so I had to follow him around Brooklands and then into the last corner. I can't quite remember what it's called. But then I managed to get side by side with him going into like the last little kink before the front straight. And I just knew if I lent the bike over, especially on a 300, if I could get the revs up, I could short shift to 6th. And so that's what I did. And I managed to just get past. But yeah, track position was really important in that race, because if you were going into Brooklands in the lead, it worked out for Lewis, to be fair, because he did still finish second, but I didn't feel safe going into Brooklands leading.
Yeah, it's definitely not so much at Knock Hill, because obviously it's a bit more tight and twisty, but at Silverstone you could definitely tell that there was quite a few of you that didn't want to be leading onto that last lap. But going on to Knock Hill, that first race, you fought your way to the front. You got up to first place. I thought you were going to clear off, but they seemed to just bring you back. You set a couple of really good fast laps midway through the race, and I thought, Finn's on for the win here. He's going to pull away a bit. But they did just manage to grab you, and you just lost fourth going to the line, I think it was. But either way, your results this season have been really consistent. You must be really happy with that, because obviously you know with that class, one mistake you make and you can drop really far back a couple of seconds and you're pretty much out of the points. So you must be really happy with how consistent you've been.
Yeah. The fourth place, I seem to be finishing fourth quite a lot this year, which is good and bad. But I think I've had 3 fourth place finishes and I've been fourth on the grid twice. So out of 9 possible results, I've had 5 of them. But yeah, I'm not really happy with fourth, but at the same time I think about it, it's definitely good to be consistent, and I'm the only person who's not finished outside the top 4 this season, and that's definitely helped me in the championship, because I've only won 1 race out of the 6, and yet I'm leading, and so I think definitely consistent is so important.
Has your mindset changed at all now you're leading the championship, or at the moment is it, no, I'm just going out there to win every race possible?
I'm trying not to let it change, to be honest, at the moment, because I was thinking before I was leading, I was second, so it was out of my control completely. So the only thing I could do was just keep trying to do the best. Whereas now I'm leading, it sort of slipped into my mind, maybe I start trying to play for the championship. But I think at the moment, before we get to like the latter part of the season, I think I just got to keep going for the wins and keep trying to do the best I can, because anything can change for the next 5 rounds.
Well, hopefully this Donington will change. I think I do remember a couple of years ago, I saw you crash at the chicane, I think, in one of these World Superbike rounds. I think it was the slowest crash in the world. I think you pretty much went into the gravel and just dropped it. But hopefully that's not going to happen this year and you can maintain that championship lead.
That's the plan, yeah.
And, Finn, we spoke briefly on the Donington Park World Superbike weekend that you have coming up. So how do you approach this weekend differently from a normal BSB weekend with, the likes of potentially even Jonathan Ray watching you trackside? So, or do you just go in with the exact same mindset as what you were, the exact same preparation as what goes into a normal BSB weekend?
I try and go into it exactly the same as I would go into any BSB weekend, but obviously you've got just... It's more the feeling of just how bigger everything is. You get to the paddock on the Thursday morning and you get everything is so much more professional and more organised, and you walk through that pit lane on Friday or Thursday when you're going for a track walk, and there's World Superbike teams and bikes out, and it's quite daunting, to be honest, the first time you do it. So it does affect you a little bit, but I think I try and go into the weekend just the same as I'd go into any weekend.
And just before Knock Hill last round for the British Superbikes, you did, I think just a month before or something like that, you did a race meeting for the Scottish Championship event. So how did that help, or they have an experience at Knock Hill on a 400? How did that help going into the BSB weekend?
Oh, it helped massively, to be honest. A lot of the people in my class I don't think had ever been to Knock Hill before, so I knew that I'd get an advantage if I could get there before the BSB weekend. And when I got there, I realised how much of a different track it was to anywhere else in the UK, because just the up and down and how quick and short the track is. The corners approach you very quickly compared to anywhere else. So once I got there and did the race weekend, and it took me a little while to learn the track properly, to be honest. I realised that it would definitely be a big help going into the race weekend. And I think it was a big help going into the race weekend, because I went out in practice and I was already on the pace, where a few people were still trying to catch up. And I think that impacted the weekend a bit.
And heading into the season, obviously now you're 5 points ahead in the championship over Jack Kirsch. So going into the season, though, ahead of it, did you think that you could have been in this position right now, or were you not expecting to at all? Were you expecting to fight for just podiums this year, or did you have secretly at the back of your mind the idea of the fact that you could be leading the championship almost halfway through the season?
I mean, I think 4 years ago when I first started in BSB, I thought this was the year that I was going to try and aim to win it. But then after last year, I think I had quite a lot of bad luck, and so it was just in my head a little bit of whether I could actually challenge for the wins and be there consistently. So yeah, in the back of my head, I didn't really think that I'd be challenging for the championship at this point. But I definitely thought I'd have the pace to be up there. So I think a bit of both. I didn't really think I'd be challenging for the championship, but at the same time, I did think I'd be up there.
And pre-season as well, before this 2023 season, did you do anything differently in the preparation to it, or did you approach it the same way? Because I think you went testing out in Spain, you rode some 600s over there as well. So, have you changed anything in your approach to this season?
We made sure we had a really good testing program before the season this year. So before, we'd normally go out for like maybe one trip just before the season, just to get me back used to riding the bike. But it never really felt like long enough to get back used to riding the bike and then testing things as well. So this year, because my mum's retired now and my dad's self-employed, it worked out that driving out to Spain and doing like a longer period out there actually worked out cheaper than flying out and booking a test week because of the hotels and the flight costs and everything. And so we just went out there for I think 2.5 weeks, did 3 separate tracks, and we did the mini bike trip in between. And it really helped to be on a bike for so long, and it really helped my bike fitness. And I got to ride my 600 for the first time out there as well. And I think riding the 600 really helped to show, well, it was like you ride the 600 and it's so fast, and you get back on the 400 and it feels so slow compared to it that you can ride it a lot quicker. So I think that testing program really helped my season this year. But then also I think over the winter, I really tried to get my fitness up and focus on like key elements of the fitness that I thought I needed to work on. So before, I just used to train. I didn't really have any sort of structure to it, whereas I still need more structure, but I'm trying to train like the components that I think would really help me in, especially in Junior Supersport, like my power and my like endurance to be able to last to the end of the race, because the last lap is so important.
And you spoke about there the last lap being important, and also that sometimes the bikes can feel a little bit slow after riding a 600. So actually on the bike itself during the race, on like the final lap of the race, how does that feel? Because on the TV it looks crazy, it looks manic. There's riders chopping and changing and weaving on the straight line. So how's that feel actually on the bike itself?
You get used to it really. If you'd asked me a few years ago, I would have said it's absolutely mental, but you get used to it a little bit when you ride differently to how you'd ride if you were riding a race where you're going to be on your own quite a lot, because you just approach it where you make an overtake almost every corner, and that's just the norm. So rather than it being like, okay, I'm going to sit here and plan stuff and like watch the people in front of you, you're just trying to make an overtake every corner to stay in position, and then maybe try and make another one here or there to make up a couple positions. And so up until the last lap, it's not really that much different to a race where you're riding around on your own, because you get used to it eventually and everyone's doing it around you. So it's more just like a norm.
And I'll just ask one final question before I hand it back over for the moment. But obviously going to BSB, I believe your first season in the Junior Supersport was 2020 during the COVID year. So before that, obviously you're racing in Fab, and then you got your license and went to BMC as well. So how was that experience, first of all, jumping from Fab to a bigger bike and then not really having that much time on a bigger bike before then you make that step to BSB? So how was that experience with really not that much experience on a big bike?
It was quite a big jump, to be honest. When we first decided to do BSB in 2020, it was before the whole COVID thing, and we were expecting to be able to do BMC alongside BSB as like to get me up to speed in between the BSB races and before the BSB races, because BMC always starts earlier. And then when COVID happened and everything got pushed back, and my first round was BSB, and I didn't actually get to do a single Bemsey round that year because they all clashed. And so that first round of BSB in 2020 was a big jump compared to anything I'd done before. You know, I think I qualified 26th or something. Had a lot of problems throughout the weekend, and it was just the like the intensity of being with such quick riders, like in the British Championship, coming from somewhere where most people are people you've known and grown up with since you're like 6 years old. You've got real big, like fast riders in there. Like I think my first year was the year when Jenna won it, and he was really quick that year, really quick. And so you've got people like him coming past you and qualifying in practice. It is a bit of a wake-up call, to be honest.
Cheers.
And Finn, just listening to what you were saying there, and interesting. We do wish you still at Fab. Wish you'd probably pop back in between some of your other racing when you're doing, I don't know, Bemsey or NG road racing clubs sometimes, or BSB or rubbing shoulders with the World Superbike stars and stuff like that. In fact, we had a comment flood in. Someone watching, Mr. Ryan Lilly. Hello, Ryan. He says, can I ask Finn about the time he crashed this weekend on his warm-up lap?
Yeah. I was on my 600 for then his second time racing it. Had a good weekend all the way up until race 3 on Sunday. I don't know what I did differently, to be honest. I was just following everyone around on the warm-up lap, and then I was going into this corner and the wind picked up a lot, and I just dropped it.
Yeah, don't worry. Jake
everyone.
Dixon crashed on the warm-up lap, so all the best people do it.
Yeah,
that sounds a lot similar to Lewis's excuses whenever he goes off on warm-up laps and stuff like that. So
yeah, yeah.
Fair enough.
I've been ball around.
But yeah, no, good to definitely see you. So if there is a long-term vision or a plan, if there is one at all, what is it for you?
Well, I think as much as I'd love to be a MotoGP racer, I think you've got to be in Spain when you're like 6 years old. So it's not really the route I'm going to go at the moment. But if I'm doing well at BSB at the moment, so if I can continue along that route, and go up through Supersport and maybe into Superbikes in the future, that would be ideal. Obviously, I'd love to go to World Championship, go to Supersport 300 maybe, or World Supersport, maybe in World Superbikes in the future. But at the moment, I'm just focusing on whatever the next step is. So whether that be Stock 6 or Supersport, or go to World Championship, whatever budget can allow, and whatever I'm quick enough to do.
Well, that sounds like a good plan. Just see what opportunities arise. Maybe, possibly, something, in like World Superbike.
There you go. I've got a question for Finn then. If there was 2 contracts on the table, one being a contract where you're going to be on the best bike in British Super Stock 600s, or a contract saying you're going to be in a middle team in World Superbike 300s, which one would you take?
I think you've got to take the World Championship ride, and just be around all the people in that paddock, get your face out there. I think it's the best option.
Sweet. Okay.
Fair enough. That answers your question. What you had another question as well?
Yeah, I'll ask another one, which I used to ask all the guests when I used to be on the show. If you had the choice, by the end of your career, would you take one MotoGP race win, or would you take a World Superbike title?
Am I allowed to ask any stipulations to this question?
Go for it.
Go on.
The MotoGP race win, is it like a proper, fully dry race, no flag to flag?
Yeah. And you can choose the track, so it can even be at Silverstone if you wanted it.
So like a proper win, none of this flag to flag,
No.
Well,
however you want it.
Oh, that's a hard one. I think the MotoGP race win.
Okay. I'm really surprised. I think I came from a different era when World Superbikes was bigger than what it was.
We're not in the 90s anymore, Jay.
I know.
Get over it. Come on.
Too old.
But yeah, no, it'll be fantastic to see how you get on. Do we definitely know if your races are actually broadcast?
They're not.
Because they weren't last year, were they?
I broadcast last year, but I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, get on it, TNT, or whatever you called now.
I'm on the Superbike paddock show on Friday. If anyone wants to tune into that, top 3 in the championship are on the Superbike paddock show on Friday.
Yeah, with Michael Hill.
Yeah.
So that should be good. And Jay, did you say you're going to Donington this weekend?
No, I'm going to Silverstone MotoGP. I won't be at Donington this weekend, unfortunately.
Oh, but Lewis, you said you were thinking about going to World Superbike.
Yeah, I mean, the clock's ticking down now, so I really need to make a decision either like today or tomorrow.
You're definitely going.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be a fantastic weekend. Fingers crossed, Finn. And I won't be there. I'll be doing other stuff. But it'll be good to see you back in a fab racing paddock, maybe on, I don't know. Do you have like a pit bike or something? Get your
He's
mini
got a
moto or something.
CRF, I know he has.
Me and my brother share a CRF 150 that's been through the walls a bit. I don't think it's had I lie. It hadn't had a change of tyres for 4 years. And then when we were in Spain, my tyre popped and sent me in front of it, so we changed the tyre.
There you go then.
Other than that, it's been beaten around a bit. It's been crashed through tyre walls many a time and not really had anything changed to it. So if I could get that down to Fab one day, if I get a chance to get to one of the meetings, I'd love to come back.
Tell you what, towards the end of the season, you can come as champion. Just
love to.
There you go. Right, Finn, thank you very much for coming on the show this evening. Best of luck for this weekend, whatever happens. I don't want to say too much because Jay will jinx it.
No, I won't.
But anyway, thank you for coming on. And I'll just enjoy it, mate. Just enjoy it. Have fun. And put on a good show for us. So
thank you. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good luck.
Yeah, fantastic to have Finn with us here on the Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.